There is a way to turn strangers into prospects and prospects into customers. There is a proven way that works now, right? Now, in the past, those old methods of marketing are outdated. Those old methods of turning customers or prospects into customers and strangers into prospects, they're outdated, they're ineffective. And the reason why this is so, okay, is because customers are not the same anymore. The people we serve are not the same. The reason why they're not the same is they don't have limited options. Okay, if you're looking for someone to sell you, I don't know, to do your fiber or something, you don't only have one person in town who can do that. You now have like 10 or 5 people within your town that can do that. If you're looking for a plumber, there's not only one plumber who lives down the street. There's probably like 10 plumbers who live within your neighborhood. Okay, there's so much more options. And with more options also comes different price ranges, meaning customers don't only have to limit themselves to one price range. Meaning, if you want Botox, right, you don't have to spend millions to get Botox. There's so much Botox surgeons in the world that now they all offer it at different prices. You can get the different type of Botox that you want at the price that you are able to afford. That's why our consumers are changing. Not only that, right? Even though we're facing more options, different price range as businesses, now we're trying to sell to these people, the marketers and other businesses, what they're doing is they're making the situation even worse. They're bombarding all of our customers. They're bombarding them with marketing messages, marketing ads, and they're saying, buy this product, buy that product, and they're putting whatever prices they want out in the open, right? And this is desensitizing our consumers. Okay, this is, maybe you sell, I don't know, pet grooming services. Okay, and then there's going to be a pet grooming service company, another one, your competitor, that is also putting out ads, right? But they're spamming the crap out of these ads. Now your consumers are so desensitized to seeing grooming ads that when your ad comes up, they don't even see it. This is a problem. They're making the situation worse, okay? Let alone from having so many options and for having so many price ranges, okay? They also are being desensitized, okay? How do we fix this? How do we actually get strangers to turn to prospects and to turn to customers, okay? Before I go into the specific framework for that actually works, okay, we first need to lay down some foundations, okay? We gave you guys a one-pager market leader guide last week that I hope you guys went through it. I hope you guys looked at it. If you didn't, don't worry, okay? We're gonna lay some of the basic foundations here, okay? There's 2 main components we want you guys to adapt when it comes to being able to convert strangers to customers, okay? And to be an actual market leader, you need to have these 2 components. The first one is marketing assets, okay? So I'm just gonna write here marketing, and then underneath it, you need to have assets, and then you need to have systems, okay? The definition we gave you guys for what a marketing asset is it's essentially something that brings not only income, but also brings attention to your brand and gives you greater influence over other people. Okay, that is what a marketing asset is. It brings income, that's right there, income plus influence. We can call them the 2 I's. I never ever noticed that until now. So that is what a marketing asset is. Now, there's a specific marketing asset you have to start out building with, right? We call it a lead magnet, and I'm going to show you how to use that, okay? And how to make your lead magnet not just get people into your system, but how is it supposed to do that, and how do you give it to people, right? Some of you guys went out, you're like, all right, Ty said make a lead magnet. I'm going to do that, okay? You made your lead magnet, and you're like, where's the leads? Okay, I'm going to show you how do you use that tool today. Okay, how do you use it to get the results you're looking for? That is the problem. A lot of people tell you, hey, look, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. You do it. You're like, where's the magic, right? I'm going to show you the magic part, but it does take work and effort. Okay, everything that I'm showing you guys is not a once-off pony trick. Okay, it's a journey that you're going to have to build out and consistently be running. It's like a machine. Okay, your marketing assets, I'll draw a little box here, right? Let's just say this is an asset. I'll put an A there, M-A, okay? Your marketing assets, you're going to get multiple ones, right? Some of them you're going to give away for free. Some of your marketing assets will become your proprietary business assets, if I can say that, right? It's unique to your business. You're not selling it that someone else also sells it. It's unique to your business, right? These things you will charge for them. Okay, maybe some of them you'll give out for free. It's fine, okay? But however many assets you have and however many products you have, however many services you have, these things will eventually build up your marketing system. Okay, these are the components of your marketing system. I'm gonna write MA, I'm gonna draw a line, right? MA, right? Just imagine this is the system, okay? Now, a marketing system, in our definition, right, there's two languages we need to understand. There's our language as business owners, and there's the language of consumers and how they perceive things. So I'm going to show you what a marketing system looks like through our perspective, and I'm going to show you what it looks like through a customer's perspective. Now, a lot of you guys are going to say, hey, wait a minute. I actually acknowledge the customer's position, and I've experienced this as well. And the reason why is because as much as we're sellers, we're also buyers, right? We buy from people as much as we sell to people. Okay, now let me show you. This is what a system would look like, and I'm going to tell you the definition. The definition that we gave you guys in that guide: a marketing system is a repeatable journey that helps people move from their current situation to their desired results. Even if you're selling boba, this applies to you. Okay, you're like simply selling boba. Yes, their result, their desired outcome is they want to have boba, right? How can you get them that desired outcome? Okay, now this is how we perceive it as a system. Can you guys see that system over there? Now, how the customers will see it, they see it as an ecosystem. Okay, now essentially it's not one straight line like we see it. Essentially, they'll see it as like an enclosed system, and they have all these assets, which they don't see it as assets, they see it as benefits. Okay, benefits, whether they are free, whether they charge for them. And I'm going to give you an example. I'm just going to make this up on the spot, so forgive me if I butcher it. Okay, let's say you're a bicycle company. Okay, you sell bicycles and you sell the treads, you know, the wheels, I don't know what they call those, the tires that go around the actual rims, right? You're a bicycle company. And you like, okay, cool, I have bicycles, which is one of my marketing assets. Okay, these are proprietary to our company. Not only do we have bicycles, we also have bicycle lessons, and we have bicycle groups that go cycling every, I don't know, Thursday mornings at 4 a.m. in the morning, okay? Now, this would fit one of these things, right? Let's say they're all those different components. As a consumer, you'll see, hey, look, they have riding on Thursday. Okay, cool, that's amazing. Oh, they also have lessons, right? Let me send my children to the lessons. And now the consumer is living within this ecosystem of yours. Their children are coming there, they're going for the riding lessons. Every morning you go on Thursdays to go ride. And then every time your bike needs maintenance, every time you need to get a new bike, you buy it from them over here. Okay, this is how the consumer sees it. And a lot of us have experienced the exact same thing in our fields, right? A lot of people in South Africa, okay, go for indoor soccer. Exact same model, okay? Every single company has this form of model. Even, I use the boba example. If you're a boba company, you're thinking, I can't train people on how to drink boba. Yes, you can't, right? You're 100% right. That's a bit weird. Okay, but you can come up with different marketing assets to make up your ecosystem. Maybe you can make a point system. I'm going to draw another one. You can make a point system, and let me write point system, where they get stamps, and then on the 5th stamp, then they get a free boba. Okay, maybe you can make a program where they come and they mix up all the different bobas, and they get that, like they try their own flavor or something, and it's like their little own fun activity that they do with their kids or something. And it's an event that fills in an ecosystem that people can move through. Okay, now it's important. I want to make this, like, stress this out a lot. Don't inundate or don't put too many assets within your ecosystem right away, because you're going to get overwhelmed, your consumers are going to get overwhelmed, and all your assets have to be working towards the same goal. Okay? If you're a bicycle company, your whole goal is to help people ride more. Your whole goal is to help people have a better experience riding their bicycles. That's why you have all of this. If you randomly have a financial aid session within your bicycle community, It's not going to make sense. It's like, well, what are we working towards? Okay, so your marketing assets have to be working towards something, and they fit in a system that direct it. Okay, now this is just to lay the foundations. Okay, that's very important. Now, this is how we see it. This is how consumers see it. What I want to go on to next is, how do you get people into this ecosystem? Okay, that's what we want. We want people living in this ecosystem, taking things for free, buying certain things, okay, and moving up and down and staying there. So there's two main aspects that we need to answer. First, how do we get people into the system, and how do we keep people in the system? There's going to be people leaving. It's inevitable. That's called a churn rate. Okay, CHURN. Okay, that's going to be your churn rate. This is okay. When you see people leaving your communities, leaving your ecosystem and saying, I don't want to bicycle anymore, that's okay. All you have to do is make sure that your churn rate is lower than your joining rate. That's all that you have to do. But point being, I'm getting sidetracked. The question is, two questions. How do I get people in, and how do I keep them to stay? Okay, now getting them in is not the same way that it used to be in the past. In the past, we could simply say, hey, buy this product. Boom, bam, they bought it, they're in. Okay, now with all those problems I mentioned, all these products available, we have to go through a different route. And actually this week, I just finished Permission Marketing by Seth Godin. And this is a book that we're gonna use a bit of the frameworks he teaches there, because he explains it way better than I could ever explain it. So I just finished that book. And I want to teach you those frameworks, because I realized, as much as I've been explaining ecosystems and marketing assets and marketing systems and getting permission from your consumers to market to them, my language was not as good. So I apologize, but we're going to fix that today. Okay. So when it comes to getting people, okay, we're going to look at getting people in, getting people in. Okay. And we want to keep them there, right? When it comes to doing these two things, let's first dive on getting people in. Now, getting people in, luckily for us, requires something that we've already discussed and something I hope you guys have already established. Okay. Now, it requires a marketing asset, first of all, and it requires mass groups of people. But the way you do it is very important. Okay. It requires ads, it requires, marketing, it requires promoting, but the way you promote is very important. Okay. And I love the way Seth Godin talks about it, right? What most people do is they do what we call interruption marketing. Let me not even bring up my board here, because this is going to be difficult to write all of it down. Okay. There's two types of marketing. There's interruption marketing and there's permission marketing. Okay, I want you to remember this. And I don't want you guys to do interruption marketing. The definition of interruption marketing is saying, hey guys, buy this product. That is the definition of interruption marketing. Permission marketing is saying, hey guys, do you want this thing? In exchange, can I keep giving you more information about this free thing? That is what permission marketing is. You're giving the consumer a reason to pay attention to you in the future. That is what permission marketing is. It's like saying, hey guys, do you want to get this free guide and then join our email list, right? That's how we will say it between us. But for the consumer, they must hear it in a way that doesn't sound like email lists, mustn't sound like, hey, opt in for this newsletter, opt in for my daily direct messages, right? They must hear it as, hey, do you want this benefit? Okay, and do you want regular benefits? Okay, now let me give you guys who this is done to, okay? This is always done in every situation. Interrupting marketing and permission marketing is always done to mass media. Okay, it's done on a mass marketing scale. Now I'll give you the definition of mass marketing for Seth Godin. It's, according to Seth Godin, is a traditional approach of making a product, then using ads to interrupt the people. Okay, all of us are on a journey, right? We're on a journey. We have a thought or train of thoughts, right? Every single day. And what people do, or what marketers trying to do, what we're trying to do is we're trying to interrupt that thought. How interruption marketers do this is they like show an explosion of a car happening and they try to like show as many flashy things as possible. Casinos use women and cars. What other I can only think of gambling for some reason because I've been seeing so many gambling ads. But basically, right, they use flashy concepts. Okay, that's what interruption marketers use. And you don't want to be using that, right? Because after seeing so many times fake news and then that actually turning out to be an ad, a lot of you guys have probably seen that on TikTok. It used to be a thing. You scroll on TikTok, you see like some guy running away from the police and it looks real. It looks like the real news. And then the guy ends up showing you an ad for like biltong or something. And you're like, okay, got a lot of views, but like now I don't even know, like, is that, then you see that again and you see it again and then you get desensitized. Okay, now this works to a disadvantage towards interrupting marketers, but permission marketers are saying, hey, do you want this free thing? In exchange, can you give me your attention? Not just once off, but can you give me your attention for a longer period of time? Okay, so an example of that is the email list that I mentioned. That is simply it. Okay, but both of these things, what I don't like about the book is that he says the first step of interrupting marketing and permission marketing is you have to interrupt the thoughts of the consumers. First one is you're interrupting them to buy something. The second one is you're interrupting them to give them something. So then you're like, okay, so why are you calling it interruption marketing if both of them, there's that whole question, which I don't understand. But point being, what I want you guys to grasp is we're going to be looking at permission marketing, which is something I've been trying to teach, but I don't think I've had the language to fully express it. Okay, there's three key aspects that are important of permission marketing, and that's good for the consumers. The first one is your marketing. Let's say you said, hey guys, sign up for this newsletter, and every month I will send you news about the latest, I don't know, car batteries. And then if you buy car batteries on a regular, you know that you can check this guy out to see if you want the latest car batteries, right? One thing about permission marketing, it is anticipated, okay? The people will be waiting for you. You know, I have this phone over here, right? This phone. And every single day, I get calls from random numbers that I hate. I hate it in the most weirdest times. Some of them used to happen during these teachings, actually. And those are called spam. The reason why it's not welcome is because it's not anticipated and it's not wanted. I don't want to hear what they have to say. Okay? Here with permission marketing, we're saying, hey guys, take this free thing. Can I speak to you further on? Can we continue this discussion? Can I continue sending you messages? Can I continue emailing you? Can I continue doing, giving you value, right? It's anticipated. Okay? We're just laying the groundworks. Okay? Anticipated. Secondly, it's personal. Okay, nobody likes to be sent a group message. Okay, and thirdly, it's relevant. It's not something that's like, okay, this has nothing to do with me. I sell ice and this guy's telling me how to sell coal. Okay, do you get what I'm saying? It's relevant to the person accepting it. This is why permission marketing works. Now, there's 5 steps on how to incorporate permission marketing. I'm going to read it out to you point blank so that you guys can get it. This is according to Seth Godin's book. Right, but I'm going to show you how do you incorporate it into your system and using your marketing assets that we've been teaching you to make. Okay, the first one is you need to make, okay, let me write it out actually because it's going to be, it's 5 points, right? So point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, and point 5. So the first one, your marketing needs to offer the prospect an incentive. Okay, so you need to have something that says, hey guys, take this thing, and in exchange, can I continue talking with you? You need to have an incentive. This, what I've been teaching you guys to make it, is your lead magnet. Okay, you give it to them for free, but the reason why is not just so that you can reach out to them again once, it's so that you can continue reaching out to them. Okay, this incentive is what draws people into the ecosystem, is what allows them to start living here and thriving here. Okay. Now, after the incentive, you need to use that incentive to get the attention of the consumer with an ad and then provide, okay, here's the trick. After you get the attention, you have to provide a curriculum of time, of teaching, of lessons on your specific product that you sell, right? It's how do you spell curriculum? curriculum. Curriculum. Okay, a curriculum of marketing. But you don't tell them it's a curriculum of marketing, whatever industry they're in. Okay, let's say you sell accounting, right? You say, hey guys, do you want to take this quick financial assessment? And then I can also provide additional resources in the future. Every single week, I send out helpful resources or additional information on these specific topics to better your accounting, right? And they're like, okay, cool. I want to sign up for that. So your incentive is the actual PDF or the actual lead magnet. And then you're giving them a curriculum to say, hey, look, I'm going to continue marketing to you. But you're not saying marketing, because that's coming across as like too business-like. You say, hey, can I keep offering you help? Remember, there's the language of the businesses and there's the language of the consumer. Okay. And then thirdly, the incentive is reinforced, right? By how do I say this? It's reinforced by their permission. Okay. Your whole purpose of this is to get their permission to be granted. Okay. If you don't get the customer's permission to continue marketing to them, what you're doing, if you consistently are marketing to them, is spam. Okay. And now this is his 5-step framework to get them in and to maintain them. So the 4th step is actually keep offering help, right? Offer more incentives. Okay. That's one way to keep people within the ecosystem. You keep offering them benefits, keep offering them more new, refreshed things on the industry, on the category that you're providing. If you're selling B2B, what can you give to businesses that keeps them staying in the ecosystem? Okay. Now, a lot of what I'm telling you guys is difficult to implement. That's why we're making the 3-day challenge. Okay. Now, over time, okay, what your goal is, Seth Godin says, is to move people up in permission. There's 5 levels of permission. There's technically 6, but level 0 is the worst. You don't want to be on level 0. That's spam. Okay, you want to move them up the permission ladder. That's what Seth Godin says. Your 5 steps of gaining and using permission of consumers. Now, this is very important, okay? Your lead magnet, this is the one thing I want you guys to focus on. Your lead magnet is one of your marketing assets. Let's say it's this one here. Your goal is to give that out to as many people as you can. Okay, I'm going to tell you how do you give that out. Okay, once you give that out, that gives you the permission to keep them in your ecosystem. They've entered into the ecosystem in saying yes. Okay, now this answers the first question of where is it? How do they get in? Okay, you need a marketing asset and you need to give that to people. I'm going to tell you how do you give that to people. Okay, marketing asset, give that to people. Now the next thing, to keep them there, okay, you need to give them incentives. You need to guide them. Okay, I'm going to say incentives, guidance, which is essentially direction. Okay, and you need to provide value/help. Okay, but you're again giving this to people. All of it revolves around 2 aspects. Okay, actually 1 aspect. It's the same. This aspect here, giving it to people. Okay, all these things will be summarized into more MA. You'll create more in the future, more marketing assets, okay? Different ones, some that are temporary, some that are only for the time being, okay? What you're watching right now, this, if some of you guys will be watching this on YouTube, some of you guys are watching this live right now, okay, while we're in the session. This is a form of a marketing asset, okay? Every week, it's a new training session on further material to better yourself as a marketing leader, okay? But it's temporary. Right? Next week's one is going to be better than this week's one, which makes you wonder, why should I watch last week's one? It's like, it only lasts to help you guys now. It's given to keep you guys in the ecosystem. I'm teaching you guys behind the scenes so you know what works because you're a part of it. Okay? Now, you get people in with your marketing asset. You keep them with marketing assets. But you need to be able to give those marketing assets to people. So the big question that we need to answer is, how do you give these marketing assets to people? Okay, there's a 4-step framework to be giving them to people. This is the part I want you to write out. Okay, this is the highlight part. How do you do this? How do you give out your marketing lead? How do you give out your marketing assets to keep people engaged? How do you keep people in your group? And how do you get people in by giving out? How do you do that? Okay, let me show it to you. The first method, right? The first step of this entire chain, if I can say that, I'll draw a chain here. The first step is communicate. Communicate, and then I'm gonna write groups of people. I wanted to say big, but it doesn't really matter of the size. Groups of people. Okay, is this too much? Groups of people, And then afterwards, it's, what did I write there again? I wrote frequently, and finally, confidently. Oh man, confidently. Now this is the 4-step framework. Technically, communicating groups of people can be put together, but it's very important that you understand it has to be to groups of people. You have to communicate your marketing asset, right? You have to say, hey, take this thing, but don't tell it to people on a one-on-one basis. You tell it to them on a group basis. Okay, that is so important. Do not waste your time prospecting one at a time. You tell it to multiple people, right? And you do it frequently, and you do it with confidence. Okay, leaders communicate to a group of people frequently, guiding them and directing them to a goal. They're leading them towards something. Okay, there's 2 groups of people you're going to be speaking to. Okay, who are the 2 groups? The people that are inside your ecosystem and the people that are outside your ecosystem. Those are the 2 groups of people. The people inside, you're obviously talking to them to keep them in the group, right? Keep them in your community, keep them in your ecosystem. The people outside, you're trying to get them inside of your community. Okay, let me just make sure you guys are awake. Everybody's paying attention. Just wave at me if you're still here. Okay, awesome. This is how you convert. Awesome, I see you guys there. Awesome, okay. This is how you convert strangers into prospects, into customers, right? And this is how you keep, this part here is how you turn prospects into customers. Okay, very important. Now let's start out with the first aspect of this entire chain of communication, okay? I swear, don't worry, if you can't apply this, don't worry, the 3-day challenge is gonna save you guys so much of time and effort, but I implore you, please apply this before we have that set up so that you're already ahead of the game. Okay, the first part, we're going to break it down into 3 parts. Communication, frequency, we're not going to say groups of people. The reason why is because communication is happening to the groups of people, and confidence. And don't worry if you are feeling nervous to go present in front of people, right? We're going to help you with that. Okay, that's exactly what we want to help you with. Everything in business is pitching. Everything in business is going out and telling people about what you're doing and why they should be a part of it. So, where are we? Communication, 2 groups of people with frequency and confidence. How do you do communication? Okay, communication, we see it as, okay, just talking to people, okay, just posting a social media post. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about social media posts. I'm not talking about posting a YouTube video. I'm not talking about sending a message on the group, right? What I'm talking about is directly talking to the people, and you know they're listening to you, okay? Now this, a lot of times it's seen as public speaking, and it does incorporate a lot of it, public speaking. And I do want to provide more training on this aspect because it's so important when it comes to business. You have to be good at speaking in public, because remember, you're communicating to groups of people. I'm going to draw multiple people here. You're not talking to one person at a time. Talking to one person at a time is going to waste your time. That system is gone and is dead. You need to talk to multiple people at the same time. And the nice thing is, with technology, we can do that. Okay, with the new mediums and with the new world, we can do that. Okay, you must be able to speak in public, and you must take the time to refine your message, right? A lot of times we don't know what we are selling. Okay, I gave this example last week about Gillette, right? Gillette is a shaving brand. Okay, you asked what is the message that is being shared by Gillette? Oh, it's obviously for health, right? That's what all the students that said to the CEO. I think it was the president at the time. The president then played a Gillette ad, and out came a woman at the end of the ad to be with the guy who shaved himself. And then all the students knew, no, it's not health. The message they're communicating is actually relationship. They want to help men improve their relationships. Okay. The only reason why I don't look super scruffy and all messed up, I don't use Gillette. I think I do have a Gillette razor, but I don't use it that often. But the reason why I do all the trimming and the shaving that I do, right, is because of my wife. That's why I do it. I don't do it just because I want to look nice, right? I don't do it for health reasons. Okay. And Gillette understands that. Now you have to refine your message to understand what is it you're actually selling. Okay. Most people think gyms are selling health. A lot of times they're selling self-image. Okay. You need to refine your message, and you need to refine the way you present your message, refine your pitch. Okay. We've spoken about an elevator pitch. Okay. And then the next thing is you need to seek out regular opportunities to speak. Seek out opportunities. You're not going to get better at communicating if you don't seek out opportunities. There is networking events within your area. There is networking events happening online. Okay? And you can get to speak at those events. Tell people what you're doing. You have the opportunity to host these opportunities yourself, to create these opportunities, manufacture them yourselves. I encourage you, do that. It feels risky. It feels daunting. It's nerve-wracking. I know. Okay, but you have to make more opportunities to get better at it. Nobody said that getting people to turn from from strangers to prospects to customers is going to be easy. It's going to take the effort of going out there and communicating to people in group settings, not on one-on-one settings. One-on-one is going to waste your time. Okay, this is very important with communication. I've seen people who have set up their own events. Okay, I'm going to tell you two stories. Okay, I've seen people who have set up their own events, and they said, hey, look, everybody come for this networking event. They invited a bunch of people, and then they told me, Tyrell, I'm canceling it because you're actually the only person that signed up. And then that person was so discouraged, they never ever did it again, right? It's been like months and months and months later, and they just stopped that networking event. And it breaks my heart because they don't understand this is part of the process. Having nobody show up is part of the process. And then there are people who went through that phase and continued pushing forward and got smart enough to say, hey, look, what if I make an event that's like this, hear me out, where I get 4 key individuals that have their own communities. I tell them to invite their people to my event, and they can speak at my event and present their own offers at my event, and everybody who signs up for the event becomes part of my ecosystem. So now I got 4 people of influence, key people of influence, and they have their own groups, right? And now I drew those people to become in my ecosystem without having conflicting interests. Okay? You become smarter as you do it. You get smarter at communicating to groups of people as you do it over time, but you have to start looking for the opportunities, making the opportunities. It's okay if failure comes. Okay, I'm going to talk a bit more about the pressures of public speaking just now. But the next level is frequency. You cannot do these things once. No. You have to be doing it all the time. Consistency is important. Frequency is important. There's 2 reasons why frequency is important, right? The first reason why is, I mentioned this before, it cuts through the clutter. Why did I clutter? Cuts clutter, right? There are a lot of marketers in your same industry that are tainting your name because they're pushing out bad stuff. They're pushing out bad ads. They're just trying to make a quick buck. They're not actually helping people. And helping people is how you actually make sales. Okay? Now, in order to cut through their clutter, you have to be frequent with people inside of your community and people outside of your community. Okay? Outside of your ecosystem. Now, the second thing that frequency does is it creates clarity. Okay? I've seen billboards on when I drive on the freeway. I'm like, what the hell? What are they saying? Right? And then on my 10th time, I'm like, they're a real estate company. They sell real estate. I'm like, okay. Now, let me give you another example of creates clarity. Let's say you listen to a song the first time and you hear this guy saying something. You're like, what? Like I like the song, but I I don't exactly get it. You listen to the second time, you're like, okay. You listen to the third time, you're okay. On the fourth time, you're like, oh, that's what he's saying. I actually know the words that he's using in the lyrics, right? This happens in songs. When you talk to a child, right, you use repetition to create clarity. The child understands. Okay, you don't want me to draw on the walls. Okay, I get it. Okay, you use repetition to create clarity. That's why you do it, right? And you cannot create clarity, you cannot speak your message, you cannot refine it even in yourself if you don't create frequency, right? The more you say your message, not only will your consumers understand it better, but you will understand it better. Okay, and that's very important. If you don't understand what you're selling, then we're gonna have big problems. So you better start saying it as much as possible so you can understand it. This is frequency, okay? Cuts through the clutter and creates clarity. Now, the final point, right, and this is where I want to kind of wrap up because it's very, very important, is confidence. Okay, when it comes to public speaking, when it comes to putting your business out there, when it comes to, which exactly what I want you guys to do, I want you to be doing two things: giving your marketing asset to people outside of your ecosystem and making new marketing assets and giving it to people in your system. Okay, that's what I want you to do. That takes confidence. Okay, it's putting yourself out there, right? If you're putting yourself out there and you don't have confidence, right, which is like a catch-22. If you don't have confidence, people are not going to take it. But you're not going to get the confidence if you don't go out there and put it out there. Okay, you only get confidence over time. And now I've spoken with a lot of people within the chat, right? I'm looking at the names here. I've spoken with Ishal, right? I've spoken with where's Fed or Feb? I'm saying Fed. Let me lower this hand here. I've spoken with a lot of you guys on an individual basis, and I know a lot of you already have confidence established, but I do know that when it comes to speaking in public, things change, right? When you're speaking to a group of people and you're telling them, hey, look, guys, this is what I'm doing, it becomes nerve-wracking, and I understand. But the only way to overcome that is with practice, practice, and practice, right? That is the only way you're going to overcome it. Do not be afraid to speak. I really want to encourage you guys, do not be afraid to give out your marketing asset. That is the only way you're going to get people into your ecosystem. Do not be afraid to do that. Emerson famously says, fear defeats more people than anything else in the world. Do not let fear grip you guys, okay? You guys can do this. The opportunities to speak are there, and those opportunities will give you more confidence. I know what it's like. A lot of you guys are thinking, but Ty, my heart races. I start to sweat, right? And I feel like all panicky before I talk to a group of people, and I understand. And remember, that is good, okay? It's healthy to have a bit of that, okay? It's healthy. That is not the problem. Use that to your advantage. I'm going to give you a quote by Dale Carnegie, and I'm going to recommend a few books for you guys that I want you guys to remember and buy if you can. Let's see if I can grab them right now, actually. Okay, I got two of them. Let's see if I can get the third one. Awesome. These books are all by the same person. And the quote I'm going to give you guys to wrap up today's session, to show you guys that you can do this even though you feel the stress and the pressure, okay, is all by the same person. The first one I want you to read is How to Develop Self-Confidence and Influence. This looks backwards. How to Influence People by Public Speaking. It looks backwards there. By Dale Carnegie. This first book here. Then the second one, this one's very hard to get. You can get the PDF. Public Speaking and Influencing Businessmen. I want you guys to get this book. And thirdly, if you cannot get any of these books, get this one. This is the cheapest one, and it's very affordable. The Quick and Easy Way to Effective Speaking. Okay, all by Dale Carnegie, right? If you feel pressure, if any of the 24 people here feel nervous to go out there and do what I'm telling you, to go and give your marketing asset to as many people, and the way you measure that is you say, hey, do you want this marketing asset? And they say yes, and they download it, or they buy it, or they take it, or whatever it is. You have to measure it. There has to be like some tangible way they can take it. Don't worry, the 3-day challenge is going to come, and we will give you guys all the ways you can start doing it, and you'll actually have assignments. You'll do it, and at the end, if you've successfully done it, you'll be like, wow, I gave out 25 this month, and 2 of them decided to become my customers. Wow, I gave up 50 this month, and then 10 of them decided to be my customers. Okay, you have to give out marketing assets, but that takes confidence. Okay, and that sometimes creates nerves. Now I want to read you this quote by Dale Carnegie, which inspires me a lot, because there's so many times where I have to speak in front of people that I'll know way more than I do, that have been in the game way longer than I have, and that a lot of times are very stern in their looks, and I try to be as happy as possible, so I don't think I come off I get even more nervous at the fact that they're stern and I'm not. But this quote helps me a lot. Dale Carnegie: when you notice your pulse beating faster and when your respiration speed is going up, don't become alarmed. Your body, ever alert to external stimuli, is getting ready to go into action. If these physiological preparations are held within the limits, you will be capable of thinking faster, talking more fluently, and generally speaking with greater intensity than under normal circumstances. I can guarantee you guys, if you devote yourselves to deciding, hey, look, I hope you guys made your marketing assets, but if you haven't, hey, look, I'm going to make my marketing asset and I'm going to go give it out to people. That is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to give it out to as many people as I can. Remember, your marketing asset must invite people to join a curriculum where you can educate them to be a better customer, right? An educated customer is a better customer, right? That is what you're doing with your marketing asset. And if you devote yourself to, hey, this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to give this out and this thing must actually help people, I'm going to actually help people with this, right? You are already halfway of the journey there. There's a famous story with Abraham Lincoln where a law student, or someone who wanted to study law actually, sent him a note and said, hey, look, Abraham Lincoln, I saw everything you've done and all the great things you've did, and I want to be like you. So I've decided to study law as well. I wanted to know if you have any advice to help me on the journey. And Abraham Lincoln wrote back and said, the fact that you have decided to do it means that you're already majority of the way there. Keep it up, right? That is all I want to encourage you guys. If you decide today to do this, decide today to actually go out there and give stuff to people, right? Give them your marketing assets. You will actually get results. All right. Now that's the wrap of today's session. I hope it helped you. I see Shell's hand is up. Let me, how do you spell Dale's surname? Let me spell it for you guys. Dale Carnegie, right? Let me pull up some books for you guys since we are actually at the end of today's session. Let me pray for you guys and then pull up some books for you guys so you guys can actually see what does Dale Carnegie do. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ, I pray for every single member within the chat.